before the sky cracks open with light, before miracles tear through the veil of the ordinary. Have you ever noticed the silence? The stillness that wraps around your life like a question with no answer. What if I told you that silence isn't emptiness, but the sound of divine preparation? You pray. You wait. You wonder if heaven has gone deaf. But what if the delay isn't denial? What if the very frustration you feel is the fingerprint of something sacred? An unseen hand rearranging your destiny, brick by invisible brick. Most people miss the signs because they're looking for fireworks, not fractures. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Before God delivers abundance, He often disrupts your comfort. He shakes the foundations you've clung to, not to destroy you, but to make room for something bigger than you've dared to imagine. And if you're experiencing that earthquake in your soul right now, lean in, because this might not be a collapse. It might be construction. Think about Joseph. Not the dream, not the triumph, but the pit, the betrayal, the cold chains of injustice tightening around his wrists while heaven seemed indifferent. Would you have recognized divinity in that dungeon? Because that's where it started. That's where the real blueprint was unfolding. You see, before elevation comes excavation. God digs deep into your life, unearths the buried insecurities, strips away false alliances, and leaves you exposed. Not to shame you, but to shape you. So, when you're walking through betrayal, through loss, through a season so dark it feels like your prayers are bouncing off the walls, ask yourself this: what if this is not punishment, but positioning? What if the breakdown you're facing is a coded message from heaven? A whisper through the wreckage saying, I am setting you up for something greater. But here's the catch. Only those with spiritual eyes can see it. Most will flee the fire, but a few, a chosen few, will walk through it, knowing it's refining them for what's next. And what about those sudden, almost cruel disconnections in your life? People vanishing, relationships shattering, doors slamming shut with no explanation. It feels like abandonment. But what if it's alignment? Have you considered that God might be subtracting to multiply? That the isolation you hate is actually insulation for what He's about to birth through you? Jesus Himself, before miracles exploded from His hands, withdrew. Silence was His companion before significance became His mission. So maybe your loneliness isn't a curse. Maybe it's a corridor, a passageway into deeper intimacy with the Creator who's pruning your surroundings so your soul can expand. And if you're feeling like no one understands, like you've been spiritually orphaned, that might be the clearest sign that heaven is drawing a circle around you, not to exile you, but to elevate you. Are you paying attention? Or are you still trying to resurrect what God already buried? Then comes the restlessness, the inexplicable unease, the urge to move without knowing where. The things that once thrilled you now feel hollow. You're haunted by a sense that something is coming, but you can't name it. You wake up feeling like a stranger in your own life. That's not confusion. That's the Spirit stirring. Isaiah said it plainly. I am doing something new. Do you not perceive it? But most don't. They numb the nudge, silence the signal, and scroll past the sacred. Not you. You feel it in your bones. The sense that something is shifting under the surface, that you're being re-scripted from the inside out. The desire to pray more, fast more, believe more. It's not random. It's a spiritual pregnancy, and the contractions have begun. You can try to suppress it, but eventually, what's inside must come out. The wilderness you're walking through, it's not the end. It's the birthplace of a river. And just when you think the story couldn't twist again, doors open. Not the ones you knocked on, not the ones you begged for, but ones you didn't even know existed. Favor begins to follow you like a shadow. Conversations turn into opportunities. Obstacles vanish without explanation. This isn't coincidence. It's choreography. Heaven's movements have always been silent before they're seen. Proverbs whispers, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." That means you won't always know the how, but you must believe in the who. When everything aligns without effort, when the right people appear at the right moment, when the room lights up as you enter. It's not luck, it's divine timing. But here's the question that haunts. Will you recognize the miracle when it doesn't look like magic? Or will you walk away from the threshold because the blessing was dressed in discomfort? Stay. Watch. Because if you're seeing these signs, you're not just on the brink of breakthrough. You're standing at the gates of divine transformation. Miss a single second, and you might miss the one key that unlocks it all.